Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm here with Caleb. Happy New Year, AG.
Hey, it's coming up.
Tell us about your New Year's Eve traditions. What do you do? Where do you go?
I'm not going to lie. I'm an old man.
He's in bed, toes up, nightcap on by 10:30.
Celebrate with the middle of the Atlantic, probably.
Do you really? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
All right.
But I am well rested on January 1st. My year starts off with a lot more pep in my step than a lot of people, I'll say. So just
a little less groggy than some others, yeah?
Yeah, everybody else has to sleep in. I am on it.
So I've spent like 25 of my 35 New Year's Eves, New Year Eves, with like the same buddy since like we started going to church together like when we were 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's where we'll be. But now our kids have that same experience, and so they have their own traditions, and it's beautiful. So
that's awesome.
Hope you are having a wonderful New Year or almost New Year. This is the place where we help you answer your real-life marketing questions, eliminate waste in advertising, grow your business, and achieve the big dream. I got the intro and the outro out of the way.
Bring it on.
I almost forgot.
That's okay.
We've only done this 79 times now. That's a real stat. You can take that to the bank. And this is our last episode of the year, and we are so grateful that we get to do the work that we do. This is after Christmas. We are just looking at all of the wonderful people we've served and the thousands of you that are, showing up to be part of our journey and our mission. And for us, yes, we have an ad agency here serving owner-operated companies across the U.S., but we also, our mission is bigger than that. It's bigger than the one-on-one companies we can serve. It's always been to bring entrepreneurs up, to give them a little more confidence in their marketing plans, mostly to eliminate the big bad wolf of wasted advertising.
That's right.
Which our research says is at least 80% of what's going on in America is, good intention money bringing poor results. And we just hate that. We would rather you spend that money on your kids or your team or your community than throw it away to advertising. But the better thing is that the advertising would bring you more prosperity and connect you with more good people so that you have an abundance to do those things. And that's why we're here. That's why the Maven Marketing Podcast exists. And we have so many things coming up to further that mission. One that you need to know about is our Maven Marketing Audit is now live at mavenmarketingaudit.com.
Wow. What a great URL.
And what a great URL. And if you're just sitting here going, hey, what are some things I could sharpen up on in the new year? Hit mavenmarketingaudit.com and give yourself 5 minutes to fill that out. And it's just going to show you, like, after doing this, well over a decade, on our way to 2 decades, like the things that we see in marketing campaigns that are high performing, the things that are making, our clients and the people that we get to hang around millions of dollars every year. And it'll give you a readback of saying, hey, here's where you might be weak. And if you want, you can go ahead and click that big button that says, let's talk about it. And you will get a 30-minute conversation with somebody in our team that just says, hey, here's the areas that looks like you might be weak in, and here's some ideas for how to improve those. And then there's 2 kind of steps after that. You could choose to say, thanks, appreciate it, see you back on the podcast. Or you could choose to step into our new mastermind product, which is a very awesome new thing we're starting in January 25. And that means you could take those things that you maybe, have opportunities to improve on, and you could bring them to our mastermind every a couple times a month. Bring your ads, bring your strategy, bring your maybe your team and sales challenges to a group of people, which will be led by Frank and Maven. And I'll be happy to be there. Caleb's going to be there.
Yes.
Leslie's going to be there. Megan's going to be there. Nate, the camera guy, may even make guest appearances.
Oh my gosh. You could actually see his face.
Yeah. And it's like, the work that we do on a day-to-day basis for the companies that we serve directly, you're going to get a piece of that to help guide you along. And it's going to be like so freaking affordable. It's going to be, you're not even going to be able to put a value on that time that you would otherwise have to spend.
Yeah. And then the bonus aspect of that mastermind is the community piece, which is you will be with a bunch of other business owners and marketers who have seen things that maybe you're running into and have answers and ways around that. And so there's such a beautiful piece of that. And
Frank and Maven clients, like they're going to be like the foundation of the group and making them better. We kind of do that behind the scenes anyway, but you guys are going to get a front row seat of that. And then, you know what, if your business is in a spot where you are, trying to go from, this $3 to $5 million space and on up from there, that's where it starts making sense for Frank and Maven to step in and maybe be a partner with you, or help you find a marketing partner in your area. And that's where an agency in general can really, give you a good leverage on your time and resources you'd otherwise have to invest, because we have some of the best talent in the world here. We have the Nate the Camera guys, we have Carters, we have Leslie's and Megan's and Audrey's and Kyle's.
Those grow on trees.
Yeah, show me that farm.
Show me that farm. Right
for
the plucking.
Reference. Right for the plucking. But we have them here, and these are people that are skilled. It's our entire job to grow owner-operated companies and make you famous in your market and make people just can't help but want to do business with you versus your competitors. And so to read all that back to you, we'll be here every week on the podcast, no doubt. You can buy our books. There's more versions and more things coming out all the time. You can follow our blogs. You can check out our new website at frankandmaven.com and have a whole new way to like search and interact with those. Or you can take that Maven marketing audit and take it to the next step and say, hey, instead of just this, going in one ear and bouncing around, what can I do to put action to it? That's the Maven marketing audit. And we're so excited to give you that tool. There's no strings attached. You can take it and leave. You can take it and take another step forward. You can do whatever you want, but it's going to help. And we're so happy that that's live now.
Yeah,
so,
bring it on.
Back to the regularly scheduled program.
Today.
25 marketing tips for 2025. You see what we did there?
Yeah.
And we cheated on this episode.
Yeah, we're going to pull the greatest hits from 24, essentially, from this last year. And we talked to a lot of great marketers, a lot of great business minds, and answered a lot of really interesting and important questions. And so we pulled the one-liners, the big hits out of here, so that we can help you really quickly. Maybe you're new. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. What have I missed?
This will help you just get a quick catch up.
Yep.
On
so
what
this is
we learned.
we cheated because we just pulled from our past episodes, but we're going to give them to you like bullets.
Yeah.
And if you don't like this one, there's another one coming.
We're going to try to put the cards on the screen throughout these, and so hopefully you can just and you can see them in the description, but you can just jump over to them. We'll tell you the names of the episodes if you want to go deeper. So, number 1, you want me to start it?
I do.
Okay. Number 1, AI. Brandon calls him his friend Al.
Al.
Or what's the other one? Cheat GPT.
Cheat GPT.
AI can analyze data, but it can't write new or surprising ads.
Yes.
So that was from our episode of 6 trends you need to be aware of this year. A big thing that was happening is things are becoming softer, and everybody is scrutinizing this AI world.
Yeah.
And the reality is it can't write something as creative as you can.
We use it every day here. It's maximize our productivity in so many areas.
Yeah.
And data analysis and maybe outlines and like just
ideation, maybe just
fast forwarding your brainstorming process a little bit. But as far as getting noticed, getting known, liked, and trusted, it's very, very poor at doing that.
It's a conglomeration of a billion things, and it will only be the middle of all those billion things.
Yes. And it's not just the ad writers saying that. There's actually a lot of studies out there about what generative AI is going to be missing in the humanity, and that's kind of the general idea. The arts, the understanding the human condition and turning that into something of depth is the challenge of AI as it exists now. And we're not doubters, we're not detractors, we're just saying that's the case. So find somebody talented to help you write your ads.
Yep.
Number 2 is make company rituals. This is from our episode of Keeping New Year Momentum Alive with your team. We all have resolutions. We all have big plans and big intentions. And by week 3, we all know they statistically, don't stick. But we did an episode just for you so that you don't have to be one of those losers.
Losers.
And especially as it relates to your team. And this is, we pulled from like our very best practices internally and how we keep our team fired up. We keep them fired up, don't we, Nate the Camera guy?
Oh, yeah.
They're always fired up.
He sounds fired up.
Throughout the year. Yeah, he's fired up.
He didn't even have any coffee.
You're either fired or you're fired up.
Oh, my God.
Around here. So anyway, check out Keep New Year's Momentum Alive with your team and making company rituals.
Yeah. Number 3 is drive around the block. And this was from Brandon and Valerie's 2-part episode about everything they've learned and seen throughout the years. Since this is specific to you, I want you to take this one.
Yeah. How to not lose your mind or your wife while you're building a business would be how this
I don't think that's how we titled it, but
like you want to have a happy, healthy marriage, and I am blessed with the best marriage I could possibly ever hoped for. And she is amazing, but also there are some things we've learned that make it even more amazing together. And one of those things is you're going to have a rough day today or a rough week or just an exhausting day, and you're treading all the things you got going on. And here's the thing. All of your people have got the best of you all day. There are also some tiny souls, or maybe just one important person, maybe it's your wife or your husband, who's been also waiting for you all day, and they deserve a fresh impression. So I learned years back, I needed to drive around the block, turn the radio off, turn the phone off, and there's a road by my house. I go on about a 2 or 3 mile detour to take the long way home, and I breathe and pray, and sometimes just reflect and disconnect from my day, so that when I walk into that door, I'm not overlapping the last energy I had out.
That's right.
So if you got to take phone calls on the way home, fine, but kill them and drive around for another 5-10 minutes, and think about, show up with that first impression back home intentionally.
That's great. Number 4, make sure you answer the top 5 questions people are calling about on the homepage of your website. So this was in an episode we talked about how to increase your website leads without spending a penny. That was a winner, a banger of an episode. You should go check it out.
That's a wonderful episode.
But the point of this was go ask the people who answer your phones, who are outward facing.
Next week, what's the top 5 things they call
What
about?
do you hear? Or have them make a little log. What are people asking about? And then make sure, go scroll your homepage and make sure all of those questions are answered in some form or fashion. It's not just like frequently asked questions. No, answer them as statements on your homepage somewhere.
Yep. Yes. Enough said. Number 5, clarify your process in 3 to 5 steps on your homepage. So no matter what you do, you tend to think it's simpler, or you can see all the insides that nobody else can see. And so you need to connect dots for people and simplify the dots, because one of the biggest objections for anybody taking action is they just can't imagine quite what's going to happen next. And so a way to speed up conversion on all levels is just to say, we make this easy. Step 1, we do this. Step 2, we do this. Step 3, we deliver you a plan. Step 4, we come and do the plan. Step 5, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So bring it down. And if you're not good at writing zippy copy, find somebody who is, and give those 3 to 5 steps for how to have success on your homepage.
Yeah. Number 6 actually showed up in multiple episodes this year. It showed up in that website leads conversation, but then it also showed up in how to increase your 7 ways to increase your appointment set rate.
Yeah.
Automate your follow-up processes. So after somebody becomes a lead is a person with a need. Don't forget, after somebody becomes a lead, make sure whatever happens to them next is completely automatic. It may involve human interaction.
Yes.
It may not be that you have automated everything.
Hey, Caleb, we got your information. Thank you so much. We'll be reaching out shortly. That's an automated email or a text.
Yeah. There may be a manual part of that automated process.
Yeah.
But it needs to be defined. Like we will write them a handwritten note one day later. But that's automatic in your mind.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Follow up and make it every time. 7, attitude, aptitude, and activity are the 3 A's to an unstoppable team. We had the pleasure of pulling in one of the smartest people I know, Mr. Nick Gordon, CEO of multiple 8 and 9-figure companies. He's just the coolest dude. And he came, if you didn't get to see that episode, it's really good. Just oozing with CEO wisdom. And that was the episode called, Timing and Tenacity Inside the Mind of a 3-time 8-figure CEO. And one of my favorite takeaways, I'll just do 7 and 8 here, but attitude, aptitude, and activity. If you've got a problem in your business, it's going to fall into one of those categories, says Nick. And he's hired thousands of people, so I would trust him. So they either don't have the right attitude, they don't have the right aptitude, meaning you haven't trained them, or they don't come with the skill set they need, or they're not putting in the activity.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with number 8. He says, with that, kick low producers out of your meetings. If you got whiners, don't let them have a seat at the table. If you got underperformers, they don't get a seat at the table. You want a part of the change in this organization, you're going to have to put up or shut up.
Yeah.
That's number 8.
That's number 8. Number 9, take a chunk of your ad budget and put it into customer experience. It will pay off bigger. That's almost.
What if you spent $10,000 wowing the crap out of people who interact with your company?
Oh, man.
Put it in, custom swag, put it in fancy candles, put it in your bathrooms, put it in, something that's just going to increase the customer experience.
Yeah, make it really special. That showed up in your interview with Jason Friedman.
Yeah.
And I would say with Alec Palin this year as well.
Yep.
And so
you don't need more leads is the name of the episode.
Yeah.
So number 10 is you is the most profitable word you can choose in marketing. Every time you write a piece of web copy, every time you write an ad, you're going to find that you tend to put in us and we and I and our company and insert at our company name at here at Frank and Maven. Kill that stuff. Go change it and make it a you statement instead of a we statement. That's in the episode 5 ways to make your Facebook ads more profitable, featuring Leslie Joe Clark.
That's it. Number 11, healthy companies allow for healthy people, and healthy people build healthy companies.
That's a Caleb A.G. original.
That's an original.
Trademark. We had to pay Caleb royalties for him to say that back to you.
Every time I say it, no. So that was a conversation with Megan and I about the 3 facets of unstoppable company culture. And we really just broke down from the inside. I think a lot of our listeners are business owners or leaders, and it's really easy to, maybe just come in and do the same thing. But you want to take a healthy perspective of, are you allowing for your people to have a healthy life? Because healthy people build healthy companies. If your company makes people unhealthy, I would advocate that, one, is your company healthy? And are they going to build a company that creates more healthy people?
Yes. And it's always going to catch up with you.
It will.
So you can work beyond the bandwidths of, 8 to 5 or whatever. That's part of it. It's part timing.
Yeah.
It's also part how they get to come home feeling about themselves. And
yes.
It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be ups and downs, but if you are trending and you make it a goal of leadership, and Caleb is so brilliant at this, I'm so proud of what we have in our company. We spend a lot of time focused on building healthy people.
Yeah. This is a good quote. It's not necessarily just about you as a person, but you could provide it for your workers as well in some way. If you don't Sabbath, Sabbath comes for you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't make time to Sabbath, Sabbath comes for you. And it shows up in the form of being sick in bed because you've overrun yourself.
Now, Caleb, are you Bible thumping us right now?
I'm not Bible thumping. This is reality. If you don't rest, you're going to have an anxiety attack. If you don't slow down,
you're going to get sick.
You're going to get sick. If you don't feed your body, fuel it with healthy things, you will, God forbid, over a long term, get some sort of unhealthy cancer or something like that.
If you don't provide space to water and nurture your marriage, you're going to spend the time later in counseling or divorce court.
Yep.
Or worse, I would argue, than even divorce court is a house where you don't know each other and live in unity.
Yeah. So
boom.
Bring that for your people.
Yeah. Hey, 12. We could have made a whole episode there. Hey, 12. The best ads bring smiles, fists, or tears. Do not write your ads. If you have an ad that's like, people are like, oh, well, I think that's going to offend somebody, that's probably the ad that you want to keep. Now, we're not going to go in the dark areas. We're not going to say stuff we shouldn't say. We're not going to alienate people. We're not going to be
just
mean.
For the sake of being weird.
But if you're like, oh, that's a little annoying, probably the ad you need to keep. Right, Joey? Right, Mike? If you write an ad that's a little bit edgy, probably the ad you need to keep. If you got somebody saying, well, that's just a little bit, odd that you would say that. That doesn't sound like an ad. That doesn't sound professional. That's the one you need to keep. So smiles, fists, or tears. Average ads are like motel art, elevator music, just sitting there waiting to be ignorable. And the worst thing that could kill an ad campaign is ignorable ads. That's in the episode, how to write ads that everyone will listen to, along with tip number 13, which is make specific claims. So you don't want to say, while supplies last. You want to say, we have 13, and when they're gone, they're gone. You don't want to say, starting at $5,000. You want to say, we have exactly this many, and it will cost you $4,894.
Yes.
Specifics are more memorable than generalities.
Yeah, and quantify. Yep. If you make a claim, quantify that as well as you can. Try to find a way to prove it. So, Number 14. If you want to close more sales, ask your clients more questions.
The question will never screw you.
Yep. The strongest tool in your tool belt as a salesman is questions.
2 ears, 1 mouth.
That's right.
Number 15. Organic ranking isn't what it used to be. Google is constantly changing the landscape of the search engine result page. Namely, they're putting like 8 or 9 paid positions above good old-fashioned organic. And so SEO is always a good thing to have, and we, do a lot of that around here. However, There are some new, unfortunately, there's some new paid spots you're going to have to play in if you're in any service category, because there's 2 to 3 new ad spots as of the last couple of years. They've kind of rolled out to all markets, and they're adding industries all the time.
Yes.
So if you used to be the estate planning attorney that was number 1 on Google, and you're like, nah, I don't have to pay anything for that. Well, now it's like there's 8 or 9 other things on the page that other people have to pay for, and your competitors could disrupt you there. So just know that. That's in the episode called Why Your Organic Website Traffic is Down in 2024, number 16.
Number 16, fill one glass at a time. That is actually one of the
core values.
One of the core values of Frank and Maven. We say it every single week. If you employ an agency, if you have an agency on your side that's doing, media placement of any sort, make sure they're laser focused on doing a few things instead of trying to put what happens in the world is called a media mix, right? A little slice of the pie everywhere. No, do something really, really well. One of the biggest known names in our city did one thing until his budget was probably $1 million. And then he did 2 things.
Yes.
And that is it. That's all he's done. And it works because he is the most well-known name in this city, probably.
Yes. You do not have enough money to do all of the things well. Do one of them really well. One glass at a time, overflowing, will pay way more dividends than being half full.
And don't let your agency drag you into a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Shiny object syndrome is death.
Yep.
All right. That's in How to Hold Your Digital Ad Agency Accountable episode. Number 17. Divergence is the key to earning attention in an ad. Divergence. You want to show something they expected and then immediately disrupt it. We want a big, serious roofer guy who becomes a cartoon. That's divergent, right? We want a super serious law firm to have old ladies laughing like the Golden Girls, right? Divergence. Take what your category is known for and disrupt it, because disruption is attention. Attention is action and all the things we want when we put money behind a message. Yeah. That's in the How to Write Words That Stimulate and Sell. And it's also how to measure it's also in 5 ads that are killing it and why. That's in both those episodes we talked about.
Yeah. Number 18, you should call, email, and text if possible. We already said this, but your follow-up process needs to have all different kinds of process. And we talked about that in 7 ways to increase your appointment set rate. But then also, are you ignoring half your customers? Where we talked about introverts and extroverts. And make sure that you've allowed for a space for, extrovert theoretically would want to pick up the phone and talk to you, and an introvert would maybe want to type out their response and thoughtfully.
Yes.
So make sure you allow for them to communicate with you the way they want to be communicated with, not the way you want to be communicated with.
Yes, sir. Number 18, you just said. Number 19, you get more customers today by flexing your ability to be better on price, speed, and hassle. Okay, what happens a lot of times is people go to market running an ad and saying buy now, call now, do all these things, and they're doing that because they want the phones to ring and they want this abundance of like customers rushing in. But the degree to which you are successful with that is the degree to which you are truly competitive or some sort of like competitive advantage on price, speed, or hassle. So if you want to write a today customer ad and get those people in, 2 thumbs up, but be sure that make sure you are ready to compete in that area.
Yeah.
Don't try to be we've been in business 25 years and we believe in relationships if you're trying to get people to buy now, because the people who are buying now don't really care about that unless they've already been building their relationship with you over time.
Yeah.
So you want price, speed, or hassle, or all 3 if you can in your today offers.
Along with that, that's from the episodes How to Get More Customers Today and How to Cash In on Your Brand's Equity. In those same 2 episodes, and I'll advocate a little bit last week when we talked about media selection. The longer you do today marketing, the harder it is. Should I redo that?
No, go for it.
Cut this out.
You know what? We can leave the imperfections in there. That was my wife texting me.
Okay, well that's good.
Let's go.
The longer you do today marketing, the harder it is. When you we talked about that 60-40 split last week.
Yeah.
Or 70-30 if you're really mature. The longer you trend higher on the today side of things, the instant gratification, if that is the larger chunk of your budget and your mindset,
you will plateau.
You will plateau, and you'll hit it. You'll get on the struggle bus pretty quick until you start thinking more long term than short term.
Yes,
short term has its place, but it's not the bulk.
So, put more substance and personality and long term relationship building in your ads over just doing offers constantly. Number 21, TV and radio audiences. Broadcast, we call that. Broadly casting your message on radio waves and TV waves are still the cheapest way to reach large groups of people in most categories and in most markets. Yes, in 2025, I'm saying as a millennial, as a cord cutter, as a YouTube, Apple, Hulu, and Peacock subscriber, I am still saying that the largest audiences, if you want to reach massive groups of people at one time today, that is still done most efficiently on TV and radio. We're in a season where that's going to change. It's going to get more expensive for everybody. Reaching large groups of people is becoming harder and harder, but there's still a gold mine in those audiences, especially if you're, wanting to sell to baby boomers or people who are semi-retired. And that is from the episode, Don't Buy TV and Radio Ads Until You Listen to This. The ultimate leveling comparison, if you want to say, is TV really better than what I could be doing over here on, YouTube or Facebook, is CPM, your cost per reaching 1,000 people, or your ad being seen 1,000 times. Also in that episode, Don't Buy TV and Radio Ads Until You Listen to This. It's not just reaching people, it's how often you reach them. Very, 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 very few people comparatively are in the market for your product right now. Your best hope when we go, I need a new refrigerator, or I need new tires, I need a new roof. The first thing we do psychologically is we consult our own memory and experience.
Yeah.
5 seconds later, when that produces nothing, then we go to search engines, okay? But the zero moment of truth is, have I heard of this before? Or do I have somebody that fits this category? And your goal as a company is to be the one that comes to mind first before they ever have to go to the stupid search engine.
That's right.
So they're typing your name in. And to do that, you have to have frequency. You have to have frequency. To do that, you have to have frequency, Caleb. You have to have frequency for that recall factor to happen. And with the same people. So when you're buying TV and radio, or frankly, any advertising, focus on smaller audiences, but more times if you want to become that recalled factor. Unless you're selling something that's like a really transactional, it's raining and you got umbrellas for sale.
Or tourism. People make last minute decisions a lot while they're out on a trip, something like that. Number 23, organic social reach. We're talking about posting on your profile page, whatever, it's different for each platform. Organic social posting can replace your ad budget, but it is rare and you must be extremely remarkable. So we talked about, we actually had a question that was, what's the value of my organic posting? And this company's producing, I think for a 3-month period, they posted once a day, an awesome video every single day. And they were getting millions of views, which is amazing. I'm gonna guess that most people don't have the content, the spokesperson, or the energy to be able to get millions of views. But in that rare circumstance, it equated to that they were, even with some of the costs they had in labor, they were
spending $150,000 a year on the salaries, the equipment, the space, all of the stuff on content creation, but they were getting more than that by a lot out of the views and organic reach they were getting. That's not true for most of you because you're not willing to spend that time, effort, and money. But there's no such thing as a free lunch. You're not just gonna, unless your time has come and you're the influencer the world has been waiting for because you look a little better or you're a little more interesting, and that's just the stars align. That happens. That happens to some TikTok, teeny boppers, right? That happens sometimes. But the degree to which you are remarkable is the degree to which your organic content can surpass other dollars spent.
Yeah.
So don't be lame.
Yeah, that's good. You take number 24.
Yep. Number 24. Half the population prefers verbal communication. Half the population prefers written communication. If you want your best shot at growth, Be great at both styles. Don't just be the jaw-flapping, extroverted salesperson. Be the well-buttoned up company that is willing to send people details and give them peace of mind in an email, because that's the other half of humanity. It's literally 50-50 according to the MBTI, the largest database of personalities that exists in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Says half of humanity wants to talk it out, half of humanity wants to gather the details and then move forward. So be good at both. And that's from the episode, Are You Ignoring Half Your Customers?
Yeah. Number 25, and this is our final one. We'll do it together. Keep showing up. You want the secret to becoming an overnight success is commitment.
Yes.
I'm putting overnight success in air quotes.
Yes. It will feel like that after about 8 years.
Yeah. I think when we look around, we see all those overnight successes, and that's the danger. Is we got to have a healthy set of blinders on.
Yes.
Stay in our lane and run that horse race like we should. But when we're looking around at those overnight successes, I promise you, commitment was in their recipe for success.
I got to meet a really influential author one time, and somebody wrote a book that was really powerful for my wife and I. And she said, I was like, how did you get a bestseller out of the gate? That's what everybody wants to know from her. And she's like, you have no idea. She goes, I wrote 8 books that went absolutely flat. They sucked. You've never heard of them. You probably can't find them. But I wrote 8 books and I published them. I put them out there. And then this one book was world famous.
Yeah.
So that is commitment changes everything. What are we doing here?
Commitment. We're showing up.
We're showing up. We're showing up for you. We are practicing what we preach, because I'll just speak to a podcast. When you're early on, you might get 12 views, and 11 of them are your mom. And so,
hi, Mom.
When you write a book, sometimes that happens. It doesn't get that much steam. And when you run an ad, I guarantee you, the first time you run it, it's not going to feel that way, or it's not going to feel like it's an overnight success. But you, the best relationships in humanity, the strongest bonds, the people who go to bat for each other, the people that show up to do business with each other in the healthiest of ways, in the most productive and profitable ways, that always, always, always comes from trust. And trust only comes from repeated experiences. And so just from a mathematical level, the degree to which you are consistent and encouraging and attractive and otherwise interesting and motivating in somebody's life over and over and over again is the degree to which you win. And outside of the really cool factor that just feels good. It just feels good to be a loyal, consistent partner. And this is true for your relationships with your team. You show up for them. This is true for home. This is true for the strongest of marriages and friendships. This is true for the strongest of parent relationships. This is true for the strongest of leaders of any kind. And it's very, very, very true for your marketing and your company. Keep showing up for your people. Keep bringing them the good news. Keep being patient and saying, here today, here tomorrow, here when you need us. And you will grow, and you will be prosperous, and you will have all of the things that we all want. And that is why we will be back here every Monday.
52 times.
52 times.
Bring it on.
Yes. We haven't missed one in a year and 7 months or something
like that.
So we'll be back here every Monday answering your real life marketing questions, sharing all that we know about growing companies, because marketers who cannot teach you why
are just a fancy lie.
Happy New Year and have a great week.